Pensive faces donned the courtroom minutes before the judgment was delivered, 6 years after the case was filed. It had been an uphill task though, with the defendant, the Attorney General, claiming in his defense that the case had been filed so long after the alleged acts had been committed. Further, the Attorney General had suggested that the matter ought to have been handled by the Truth, Justice and Reconciliation Commission, which had been set up to deal with such issues. In her ruling, Judge Hanna Okwengu insisted that violations of constitutional rights were not bound by term constrictions and could be filed any time. She also said that the case had been filed long before the TJRC, a subordinate body to the court, had been set up. And it was all jubilation after the judgment. The 21 applicants were awarded a total of 39.2 million shillings in total, with Thuku Wakaba getting 3 million in compensation, Paul Amina 1.5 million, and Bunene Kamau 1 million shillings, among others.
Well, I'm relieved.
We have all expressed a sigh of relief that after 6 years, these people who were subjected to very heinous crimes under the Nyayo regime have at last been vindicated.
Most of the torture victims had been arrested and detained, mostly without trial. They had been holed in the infamous Nyayo torture chambers, stripped naked, forced to stand in cells filled with cold water, among other torture tactics. For Amina, a journalist, his crime had been covering stories of people who had been taken to court, allegedly for sedition.
And I was arrested inside the court, where I was covering a case of Baraka Karanja, who was shot by the police and buried secretly.
At a recent referendum campaign, former President Daniel Arap Moi claimed the detentions had been carried out for the good of the whole country. While the victims contended that the money was not compensate for the suffering that they underwent, they say it is a sign of acknowledgement of the past misdeeds of the former regime and an acknowledgement that indeed something needs to be done about that chapter in Kenya's history.
They can use this money to put their lives back on course.
After decades, justice, though delayed, has finally been delivered, and a clear message has been sent to the executive that any wrong acts committed by its agents will eventually get punished. Ochieng, Citizen Live at 9.